If I wanted to generate millions more in sales within my small business, I'd use this, a single piece of paper. You see, before I became the good-looking entrepreneur you see in front of you, I had one of the most boring jobs on planet Earth. I worked in finance, and honestly, I absolutely hated it. But the billion-dollar company I worked for had a simple hack that generated tens of millions in sales every single month. And you guessed it, it involved just a single piece of paper. This trick is so powerful, I've used its methodology in every single business I have owned. And it doesn't just work at big financial corporations either. This can work in many different businesses, real estate, bars, restaurants, anywhere you have employees, this hack is going to work. Now let's be real about something. It's hard enough to get employees to show up to work on time these days, let alone get them to be more productive. But when you identify what I'm about to share with you in this video, it's gonna solve both of these issues. But first, we need to figure out something. We need to figure out what metric you actually want to grow in your business for this hack to be productive. Now, normally business owners would say, I want more sales, I want more revenue, but that's not the purpose. You need to figure out a metric that your employees can tackle on their own, or at least in a very small team. If you owned a restaurant, as an example, you could look at getting more reviews with individual waiters' name on it. Or if you were a real estate agent, you could look at having more property views with each individual employee. It could also be the amount of time the till rings for every single person working in your business. It could be absolutely anything, but it has to be something that is super simple and, more importantly, is trackable down to each individual employee. Once you've figured out what your goal is and how you're going to track it, we can then move on to the next step, which is getting everybody involved. And you're going to need a whiteboard like this. Then what you need to do is get all your employees' names on the side and then get them all in a room and tell them you're running a competition. The competition must run in a certain time period that is ideally less than a month. Tell your employees that somebody is going to get a sick reward that we're going to disclose later if they come out on the top of the leaderboard. And bonus points here if you can figure out a system where anybody can be the winner. For example, you might have somebody who's killer at sales. That means they're going to win every single week. Try and find a metric where anybody can be the winner. The prize itself needs to be something understandable and simple at best. Don't make it money. I've tried that. It doesn't work as effective as some other things like this piece of paper I'm going to share in just a second. You've seen in some TV shows where they'll have an employee of the month go up in a restaurant or a store and people then compete to have their picture on the wall. Something along those lines, but you can make it a little bit better and more interesting for your employees. Some quick examples. If you're targeting waiters because you're a restaurant, the winner could get the best seats on their shift so that they could make more money in tips, helping them get more reviews in the next month. If you're working in an office, it could be giving them a temporary office with the best view out the window. It could also be as simple, which has worked in one of the companies I worked for, as getting an expensive pen, and the best person who wins gets to use that pen for the rest of the week. It may sound dumb and pretty petty, I know, but trust me, this kind of thing works. People want to win the little things in life. But what this board will do for you as a business is it actually gives you a place you can track your employees. You can see what's going on, who's at the top every single month, and most importantly, who needs the most training, who is constantly in the bottom third. If you have a board as simple as this that lets you track where your employees are, it's literal gold for a business owner because it lets you keep a simple track of what's going on. More importantly, it keeps your employees excited within a short time period, and which will in turn increase loyalty within your employees. So by now, you're probably thinking, what the hell is this piece of paper? And what did the finance company do with this single piece of paper that got people in hysterics and generated tens of millions in extra sales every single month? Well, what they did with this piece of paper is they would write the registration plate of the car for whoever was number one in this spot. And every month they won, they would get the CEO's parking spot within the garage. Which may sound super simple. Who cares about a better parking spot? But it worked. People were fighting for this and bragging about it constantly, that they have to walk 2 steps less or 2 floors less to get to the elevator. It was insane. We had absolute bagger of spanner cars, 20, 30 years old, parked next to Bentleys of other CEOs from different companies. What happened because of this car parking spot was it increased sales by tens of millions every single week, and healthy competition overtook the office. Who was going to win this week? Now, for me, when I was working in this magnificent building in a city with 15 million people, I didn't drive a car, and one week I won. What did I do? Well, I actually still took the car parking spot. I could have leased it out to somebody else in the office, but I didn't. I went and took my friends at lunchtime, and we had lunch in a car parking spot next to Bentleys and Aston Martins, just to say it was mine. I won it. I used it. I was number 1 in the office. But I quickly lost it the next week with somebody who upped their game. It just shows that how even a simple car spot can increase productivity and, more importantly, sales in a $1 billion company. And that's what you should be doing to increase productivity and, in turn, sales and revenue within your business, especially when you compare it with an $84 camera. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about here, you must watch this video here because it's going to increase sales drastically.